So how long between that night to when like you start to really build with Immortal Technique?
Maybe the next year or something. Like after that, you had that. I did that. Then you had the Cypher finals, which was the big battle, which I actually won.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Jin in the finals of that.
Oh, can you talk about that?
Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen me and Icon the Mike King battling?
Right.
You ever see that battle on YouTube?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's from that night. That's from the finals that night. The final me versus Jin battle suspiciously never surfaced because I kind of had like, a little static with the people who had the footage because I would talk shit, like they talk shit and I would talk shit. So we had like little battle beefs and shit. Me and Pac FM had battle beef back then. It was funny. Like we're friends nowadays, he lives not too far from me, but, we had like little battle beefs and I think Tone Deaf had the footage and, kind of did the uploads for hook.com and shit where the battles used to be hosted and I don't think they wanted me to shine. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was a little, that's my theory. It's never been confirmed, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It always seemed funny. But like I murked Jin. That was a good night. Because Jin had a pretty big name. People were like very, very impressed by Jin.
So how many people did you battle before you got to the finals that night?
Let's think. They had a written round. It was weird back then. I always thought this shit was stupid, but they had a written round where I battled this dude, Refa Lee. That might still be up. That was up for years. It looks like somebody filmed it on a fucking toaster, but it's up there. Yeah, man, it was up there. So you had a written round where you spit a written rhyme. And then the second round, if you advanced, was a word round where they give you a word to go off of. And I remember my word was like neutralize or some shit. Maybe that was in the first battle. They did a word round. Like it was kind of fucking stupid. Where people would use the word once and kind of try to move on from it. You know what I mean? And just kind of battle. I always thought that was dumb. But that's where I battled Pac. That's why we had battle beef after that. Because he thought he got jerked and I was like, suck my dick. You guys ain't shit. It was like one of those things. And then I battled Icon in the semifinals. I battled Icon the Mike King in the semifinals. Immortal Technique was in that battle. He lost to Manifest in the written round, actually.
Oh,
Manifest
wow.
went off. I'll never forget Manifest spit his best rhyme. He had this verse. It was fire. And Tech just was like a little off. It was like he was a little more composed. It was early in the night. And Fest kind of murked Tech, and Tech was pissed. I'll never forget that. I didn't really know Tech yet. I had met him, but he's walking off stage. He's all pissed off, Immortal Technique. That was back in the mustache technique days, you know what I'm saying? Back when he had that communist mustache. And fucking, yeah. And he was mad. I was like, nah, you did your thing, bro. And he's like, yeah, fuck that. He was pissed off. But we didn't really hang out too much at that point. And so I advanced. I beat Icon. We had a stare down and shit. Poison Pens cracking jokes. Like, because me and Icon were cool. Like, at that point, we were like kind of friends. We had become friends because, he had the Fallen Angel shit. I think I was in that crew at that point.
Right. He told me that.
Yeah, I believe I was in that crew at that point with him, Lou Cypher.
It was in Optics, right?
Yeah, that was me, Cole, and Taboo. Like,
right.
It was like a thing we were doing, Triple Optics. And, but the Fallen Angel shit was like me, Cypher, Fest, Icon, A-War. It was like little crews were popping up. And so when me and Icon battled, like, it was funny, because we were cool. And then in between the rounds, he was like staring at me, smiling, and fucking we're just standing there, and I'm like smirking at him and fucking Pens on the mic. Oh shit, we got Rocky and Apollo and this motherfucker cracking jokes as Poison Pen does. And then fucking then I battled Jin and I bodied Jin. I bodied Jin.
How many rounds did that go? The Jin one?
Just two. Just did 2 rounds.
Just the 2 rounds?
Like 45 seconds or some shit, whatever it was. And then it was crowd judged. The crowd cheering judged it. Do
you remember anything you said?
I remember a couple things. What did I say to him? It was It was kind of racist a little bit. An Andrew Dice Clay joke. I said, this is what really set it off. I remember I said something about like referring to me an icon having a stare down. Something about you ain't gonna win this. You should try a staring contest. And people like got a little response because it made sense for the moment. But then I was like, fuck that. I'm like, blah, blah, fuck that. You're mental soft. You can't see me. I blindfolded you with dental floss. And that was a famous Andrew Dice Clay joke about Asian people.
Right.
So the crowd erupted off of that. I remember that. I think I started the second round with something. I met your mom at a bathhouse.
This is all freestyle.
Yeah, kind of like what you kind of thought of it. It's freestyle, but you think of it as you're sitting there and looking at him while he's rapping. You think of a line or two before, or ideas for things that you could go into, and then you just kind of go off. And then you have your crutches, things that you'll repeat to like kind of babble for a bar so you can think of something else on the spot.
Right.
That type of thing. But I remember I said something. I saw your mom's at a bathhouse. She said she loves my raps. After she scrubs my back, she gets on her knees and rubs my sack. And people like that. And then later on, I said something about, I don't know, your flow's whack, and you know that. I don't know how I worded it, but I was like, you couldn't hang if I gave you a wedgie off that fucking coat rack. And there was a coat rack next to the fucking stage.
Oh, shit.
So people like that. Then there was maybe a couple other Asian lines, maybe. I don't remember. It wasn't overly racist. I mean, I don't think it's racist. It's battling. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You're Asian. You're welcome to fried rice wraps. You know what I'm saying? Get used to it. Kung fu chicken and shit. I don't know.
You got the white jokes and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
you know how many times I got referred to as Eminem once Eminem was a thing? You kidding me?
Right.
That's all you got was Vanilla Ice and Eminem. Oh, it was everything. Everlast. Fucking, I had a goatee.
Marky Mark?
Nah, not as much Marky Mark. Not as much. He wasn't taken seriously. So,
right.
People didn't really connect the two as much.
What was that the first time you battled Jin?
Yeah, I battled him again, where I thought I destroyed him worse, and I ended up losing in a tiebreaker. But I battled him at Rutgers University, like maybe, I don't know, 6 months later or something. And I thought I fucking bodied him worse the second time, but he did have a clever, like, on the spot line though. That kind of, I guess, pushed him over the top. But I don't know. I thought he was kind of choking personally, but.
Got you.
I remember I was going like this, and he was like, he's making that sign because I'm going to chop his head off. And people really seemed to like that. But I remember I told him, I was like, fucking, look at his facial structure. Wait, I forget. His facial structure makes me think Mr. Miyagi his mother or some shit, I said. And I remember that. Some to that effect.
At that time, were you cool with Jin behind the scenes though, or it was just kind of like you just knew each other?
Yeah, like in passing, like we weren't friends, but hey, what's up, dude?
Right.
Like when he started blowing up and fucking, I think he signed to Rough Riders and shit. Later on, I went to Summer Jam, which was garbage, but I had this girlfriend in I guess it was like 04-ish, and he was outside with like the street team outside of fucking Summer Jam, like doing. Not meet and greet, but out there, like with the street team, t-shirts, fucking, merch area type shit. And I ran up to him, ran into him there, and fucking, we were cool,
Mm-hmm.
In passing, I haven't seen that kid in probably 20 years.
Wow.
He was a nice guy, though. Jin was always a nice dude. He was always very fucking friendly, and in my experience, I don't know, he was cool.
Yeah, shout out to Jin, man.